What's up, guys? I know it's been a bit since we did a video, but this is the big one. I went through the YouTube build of the green frame 250R, and things changed. So I know there's been a lot of chatter on some of the groups that I'm working on a special project, and today's the day that I reveal it. So when I did the initial build, I'd been working on some other stuff, but I wasn't sure how timing was going to work out. But I wanted to get that other video out to you guys, because I know a bunch of guys are working on stuff. So timing ended up working out. It delayed the reveal of this, but this is next level. In fact, I'm calling this project next level. So a lot of stuff going on here. It's all new. So I'm not going to waste the time. Brian, you help me uncover it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. This is the reveal. I know you guys are already seeing some stuff you don't recognize. So what we have here is the X-Travel full front end suspension and swing arm. This is the first of its kind. This is the only build that exists of its kind. And this thing is pretty crazy, let me tell you. Just a couple highlights. We've got a +3, +2 front end, so we're sitting a little bit farther forward. We've got 0 bump steer, and if it's not 0, it's damn near 0, because I tested it. So we've got that. We've got massive clearance under here because of the way the spindles are designed. This bulkhead, the fronts don't use any of the OEM mounts. This bolt head is all bolt on, and then the arms bolt into there. So I will say this whole system was made for an OEM frame, and they designed it through all that. I wanted to use the LSR no-link frame, so we had to go through a bunch of changes. And even though LSR says that their frame is based on stock geometry, there were some differences. And with a system like this, it has to be so precise to get that 0 bump steer and make sure everything clears, tie rods and everything else. We had to do some reworking. We had to rework the spindles a little bit. We had to tweak the bulkhead on the front here a little bit. But we got it all done. And the last piece we're working on is the rear shock, because the rear shock, since I'm using the no-link LSR, the mount is higher, and the shock that I got with the whole system was made for an OEM frame, so it was too short. So I have an axis on there temporarily that we modified, because Elka is so backed up that I was like, at this point, it's going to be months before we get a shock. So let's work with the axis, let's see what we can do, try to get the valving down and tweak it, and then we'll be ready to order an Elka to match the whole setup. So this bike currently has my Selvy 363 from the other race bike. Selvy's working on my new race motor for the other bike that I'm finishing up. A lot of stuff's the same. Obviously, big differences are the front and rear. We've got Elkas on the front. You can see the angle of the shock is much more vertical than a typical long travel. Now the key features of this. It's measuring out at 13 inches of travel, wheel travel on the front end. And I spec'd everything out, and right now the swing arm is a 20-inch swing arm, because this was really designed for desert. And at 20 inches, right now with the shock, we're at 15 inches of wheel travel. And that's measured to the center of the axle. I think I could push it a little bit farther, so I'll be working on that. I think I could probably lengthen that shock and maybe get another 16 inches out of it, or full 16 inches. But I'll be playing around with that. So basically this is pretty much ready to go. I've got a few little things to finish up on it, but nothing major. This, I'm planning on debuting this at the Fourwerx race in Utah, Labor Day weekend. So, I'm super excited. It hasn't been ridden yet. I literally just got the shock the other day, got it in, finished up some stuff today. Hoping to get it out next weekend for an initial test and tune. But I want to take it easy because I've got another photo shoot coming up on August 22nd. That's a big one. So, I want to keep it pretty clean. But I also need to get it ready for Labor Day weekend. So, I'm sure you guys are going to have a ton of questions, and that's cool. I'm not going to ride it today because honestly I don't have any gas. All the places are out of 110 around here. So, that'll be down the road, and we'll be doing a ton of video on this one. in different environments. So, you know, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel because we're going to have a lot of cool stuff coming out this fall. And right now I'm just going to do a walk around, and that'll be it for today. So we'll have another follow-up video very soon. All right, let's do a walk around. So as you can see, it's really a next level system. Here's our OEM mounts. You can see how far forward they are. Still using the OEM rears. Custom bumper has to mount on these two bolts because, you know, we don't have access to the sides. The Elka shocks are only 17 3/4 inches long, and I'm still getting 13 inches of wheel travel. You can see how much ground clearance we have. Flexxbars, they're a must. Got brand new black plastics. Looks pretty awesome with the white camo graphics. Got color matched front hubs, GPS wheels. Of course, Slick Rock Gear rock guards, my own rock guards. We're using a Pro Ballistic Explicit Motorsports skid, 3/8, custom cut. There's the Selvy 363 from my other bike. That sick green frame looks awesome in the sun against the black. We've got our Axis rear shock right now, which will eventually get swapped out for an Elka. And here's the swing arm, 20 inches long. This thing is bulletproof. The carrier tubing thickness is probably 3/16 or 1/4 inch. It's huge. Does add extra weight, but it also balances out the front extra weight. Because of the angle of the rear shock, you see it's more vertical. You can see it there. I was able to use, I always use an OEM airbox, but I was actually able to use an OEM boot and have no clearance issues with the caliper hitting the airbox. This is a 450R caliper setup, basically using an OEM rear caliper or rear brake stay with a spacer inside to space the rotor out, and it all fits great. Super beefy. We got a PRM skid on there. Of course, the Wrath. We got the Wrath grab bar, so I'm getting new decals for her. Polished up the Wrath Nerfs. Hinson cover, Nax kicker, very similar to my other build. A lot of parts off that. And you can see these tie rods. Billet, heavy duty. So let me just give you a walk around from a distance. Of course, the Selvy, Kenny Roberts pipe and silencer. And this motor puts out about 70 horsepower. So she's not for the faint of heart. fourwerx, awesome seat covers, fourwerx hood, fourwerx tank cover, Bori grips, and SSI does my decals. RTC shrouds and louvers, of course, love those. Suck in the most air. I did have to do a lot of trimming because this arm comes up so high. I had to notch all that out. Definitely looking forward to ripping this one. Can't wait to see how she performs. So that's it for now. You know, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we got a lot more content coming. Plus I have another bike to reveal in a few weeks. All right guys, take it easy.